Ministry of Education has assured senior high schools that are reporting of food shortages that supplies will get to them by close of day today. It follows a meeting with the Sector Minister, Dr. Yao Seidu-Chum, with leadership of a conference of heads of assisted secondary schools CHAS over the weekend. In some schools, we know parents have been sending their children food supplies over the weekends because of inadequate supplies on campus. But our checks with some of the schools that have reported shortages as of now reveal the food supplies have not arrived on campus. Let's engage Peter Pate-Anti. He is Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFES. Thank you for joining us, Peter. So it's not the first time we're having, the schools complaining about food shortages. In fact, a couple of months ago, right here on TV3, we carried a series of stories about this problem, which was denied by education authorities. Now we're here. As we speak, the supplies have not reached all of these schools. From where you sit as an education watcher, are there any changes that must be done to how food supplies are given to schools and the running of the buffer stock campaign, for example? If you can unmute for me, Peter Pate-Anti.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. I think we can talk about changes or reviewing the model of distribution of food items to schools if there is a tacit admission that we have a problem, and that is where I will always come from. The ministry from day one have not accepted that they agree with all of us, including parents, teachers, school authorities, that there's a basic problem of food shortages in our schools. Anytime you bring this up, and even to the extent that CHAS speaks about it, to the extent that there are communications letters to that effect, the ministry is still saying that there's no food shortages in the school. So if you go ahead to talk about changing the model of food distribution, you are not making any proper input, because those responsible for implementing those ideas that would be communicated do not see that there's a problem, and that is where the issue is. So till we agree, I mean, the ministry accepts that there are food shortages all over the place in the secondary schools. The minister met I'm told he met some of the schools that have complained about this, and they are sending sugar and so on and so forth to some of these schools. But how long can we do this firefighting approach? We have students on campus who have not been able to have any serious meal to eat. Right. Some of them are eating rice to rice from Monday to Monday, and they don't have bread, they don't have sugar. And when you complain about this, we have instances where parents are making contributions to ensure that their students are fed. We have instances whereby parents are now sending food items to the schools, and the ministry says that there is no problem. So we can't even talk about reviewing the model of food distribution, because they who are responsible for implementing those ideas that will be communicated, they do not see any problem.
Right. And granted that they have refused to admit the situation, but our independent checks, and if you've been monitoring our reportage since last week, we've been bringing series of reports capturing, the shortages in some schools in the eastern region, in the northern region, the Savannah region, the upper east and upper west region, as well as the Ashanti region. So, Mr. Anti, going forward, how should this be dealt with in the shortest possible, time? Because we know some of the schools have had the children leave campus because they are unable to feed the students.
I think what needs to be done is that CHAS needs to put their feet on the ground. The running of the school lies with them. If they are able to forcefully come together and issue an ultimatum to government, to the ministry, that these are the challenges that we are facing. And let me chip this in. If we are talking about food shortages, it's not only our food. It's about running the schools. I mean, money to run the schools, daily administrative work. Most of these things have come to a halt in most of the schools that we have had contact with. So CHAS needs to put their feet on the ground and issue a communication to the ministry. And then we will see how best they will be able to deal with it. But the sure way is to look at the model that we have adopted. We had a different model. The free SHS brought a new model. We have to sit down and look at this model and see what is working and what is not working, so that we can make changes where necessary.
I appreciate